The rain did not fall that night. It was a quiet night because the rain was not falling. The rain just did not come down that night. The dog attacked. The storm slammed against the windshield in strong sheets, making the empty road look like a blurry tunnel with dark shadows and streetlights that kept flickering on and off. The thunder was loud and low. It was the kind that you could feel more than you could hear. It was like it was shaking your body. Most people were already inside their homes. They had locked their doors, had warm lights on behind their curtains. The storm was really bad, so anyone with sense had decided to stay inside where it was safe instead of being out in the storm. Ryan Carter was not one of those people. He was driving with both hands tight on the steering wheel. His knuckles were white. His jaw was clenched. The old car was having a time getting through the flooded streets. The heater in the car was not working well. The wipers were making a lot of noise as they moved back and forth. His back hurt because he had been on his feet for 10 hours at the warehouse. There was still grease on his hands even though his nails were clean and short. The car in the warehouse smelled like metal and oil. That smell was all over him. He could still smell the metal and oil. The man just wanted to get home. He was really looking forward to getting home. Home was where he felt safe and happy, so he wanted to get as soon as possible. Getting home was all that mattered to the man. To his daughter. To 8-year Lily, who really did not like thunderstorms and always slept with the light on when the sky was too loud. He had told Lily that he would be home before midnight. When you are a parent and your child only has you, you have to keep the promises you make to your child. The promises matter a lot to your child. That is what he had to do for Lily. 3 years earlier, Ryan's wife had gotten very sick. Passed away. This was a tough time for Ryan. Now he has to take care of the kids by himself. He has to make their lunches, tie their shoes, and go to school meetings. Sometimes he is still wearing his work boots when he goes to these meetings. Ryan never says anything about his situation. He is just too tired to complain. Ryan has to be both a mom and a dad to his kids. Life had taught him to keep moving, to just keep going. This is what life had taught him, to keep moving no matter what life had in store for him. Life was full of ups and downs. Life had taught him that the best thing to do was to just keep moving. The rain was coming down. It was really dark, but then he saw her through all that blur. The woman stood on the side of the road, totally soaked. Her hair was stuck to her face. She had her arms wrapped around her body like she was trying to keep herself from falling. The woman was not waving her arms around like crazy. The woman was not screaming for help. The girl was really upset. Tears were falling from her eyes. She was crying. It was very sad to see the girl like that. She was crying. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just broken, silent sobs swallowed by the rain. The cars sped past the woman. She saw the cars going fast. The cars were moving quickly, that they were just a blur. The woman watched as the cars sped past her. Muddy water went up her legs when one splashed it. The muddy water made a mess on her legs. The other car did not even slow down. Ryan's foot was just sitting there above the gas pedal. Ryan was not pressing the gas pedal down. He was sort of holding his foot over it, waiting to see what he would do next with the car. The gas pedal was there, under Ryan's foot, and all he had to do was push down to make the car move. The woman was standing by herself on the side of the road, and every instinct he had was telling him to just keep driving. He had a child waiting for him at home. This woman was a stranger to him, and he did not know what her story was or why she was alone. He also did not know what kind of trouble the woman might be in, or what kind of trouble might follow the woman if he stopped to help the woman. Then she looked up. She was looking at something. The woman looked up. Saw it. For a second the person's eyes met the other person's eyes through the rain and the headlights. Ryan felt it too. He just knew something was going on. Ryan had this feeling of him. That hollow look. The same one he had seen in the mirror after Lily's mother died. The man stopped his car before he could think of a reason not to. He pulled over to the side of the road. The car stopped fast. Rain was hitting the roof hard as Ryan pushed the door open and got out. His jacket got wet away. The cold air was biting. Ryan did not really feel it. Ryan was too busy to think about the car or the rain or how cold it was outside. The car and the rain were there. He said hey to me in a voice. He wanted to know if I was doing all right. He asked me if everything was okay. The woman jumped back. Got a scared look on her face, like something had really hurt her. The woman felt like she had been hit or something. She turned to him slowly. Her eyes were red and swollen. Her lips were trembling. Her clothes were really thin. They were torn at the sleeve. She held onto a worn-out handbag tightly to her chest. It was like the handbag was the thing that was keeping her going in the world. She was holding onto the handbag like it was all she had, the only thing that was keeping her connected to everything. The handbag was battered. She was holding onto it for dear life, like the handbag was her only hope. She tried to speak. Her voice cracked. She swallowed hard. Please, she said quietly. I just need a place where I can feel safe, somewhere safe, like I said, somewhere safe. That was it. No explanation. No story. Just fear. Ryan nodded once. He said, "Okay, come on." She stopped for a moment, her eyes moving fast, looking past him, checking the road and the dark area behind the trees. The darkness behind the trees seemed to be what really caught her attention. She was looking at the road. Then she looked back at the darkness behind the trees again. He said to me, "I promise." He said this in a quiet voice. He also said, "I will not hurt you." Something in his voice must have gotten to her. She took his hand, her fingers were really cold. She let him help her into the passenger seat. Inside the car, the silence was heavy. The heater was making a noise as Ryan was driving. He would look at her every now and then. Only when he thought she was not paying attention to him. Ryan thought the girl looked really out of place. She was too nice for the kind of street they were on. She seemed calm and put together even though something was clearly wrong. The girl's hands were shaking in her lap. Her nails were clean and neat. She was sitting up straight like she was trying to protect herself from something. The heater hummed weakly as Ryan drove, glancing at the girl only when he thought she wouldn't notice the girl. The girl looked out of place. "The man looked at me. Said, 'Where should I take you?' in a really quiet voice. 'Near the park,' she said after a really long time. 'Please.' The request made no sense to Ryan. The park was really empty on a day with weather like this. Ryan did not ask her any questions. He just nodded his head. Kept on driving to the park. The girls started talking as they got close to the park entrance. The woman said that he did not have to stop. She said this in a voice. Ryan shrugged. He said, "Someone should have done that." He stopped the car. The lights shone on the dark trees and the swings that were moving back and forth in the wind. The girl went to open the door. Then she just stopped. The woman turned around to face the man again. She looked at him. The man was standing there waiting for her to say something. The woman turned back to him because she wanted to talk to him some more. Her eyes looked at his face carefully, like she wanted to remember what he looked like. She was staring at his face so she could remember his face. She said that I reminded her of someone, and she said it quietly. Ryan frowned slightly. He said, "Who?" She swallowed. "Someone who still thinks that people are really worth saving." The woman that nobody paid attention to, she was always there. People just did not notice her. The woman everyone ignored, her presence was like a whisper. In a room it was easy to overlook. People would talk to the woman everyone ignored. They would not really listen to what she had to say. The woman everyone ignored, she had a lot of things on her mind. Nobody seemed to care. The woman everyone ignored, she tried to speak up. Her voice was drowned out by the noise of everyday life. The woman everyone ignored, she felt like she was invisible, like nobody could see her or hear her. Ryan thought about her all week. He could not stop thinking about her. Ryan kept thinking about her every day. The thought of her was always on Ryan's mind. It did not happen in a dramatic way. It was not like something you see in a movie that happens perfectly. This was quieter. It was more unsettling. Her face would come into his mind when he was doing things like tightening bolts at his job, when he was stirring soup that he was making for Lily, when he was lying awake at night listening to the sound of rain hitting the window a long time after the storm was over. The way she looked at him was really something. She had this look in her eyes when she looked at him. The way she looked at him was very special. The way she spoke that last sentence was really something. She said it in a special way. The way she spoke that final sentence is still on my mind. There are people who think that others are worth helping. They really believe that people are worth saving. These people still have faith in others. They think that people can change for the better. Someone who still believes people are worth saving, they are the ones who make a difference. He did not know why those words stayed with him. Maybe because he was not sure he believed those words about himself anymore. The words stayed with him. He could not understand why. He thought about the words. He was not sure he believed that about himself anymore. Life just kept going the way it always does. It is loud, it is. It does not care about anyone. Life is like that, it is loud and demanding, and it just keeps going on and on without caring about what people think or feel. Life is indifferent, it just moves on no matter what happens to people like us. That is just the way life is. At the warehouse, Ryan was invisible. He was not treated badly in a way. Nobody shouted at him, said mean things to him. The way he was treated was more subtle. He did not get picked for jobs when they became available. He got the schedules and the jobs that nobody else wanted to do. The younger people at work would walk past him talking loudly about the fun things they did on the weekends, which he could not do because he did not have the money or the time for them. One of the guys said to Carter one afternoon, "Hey Carter." Then he threw him a crate that was all broken. Just to be funny. "Do you ever take a day off, Carter?" Ryan did not look up. He said, "I do not have the money for that, and he meant it about the thing that was being talked about, the thing that Ryan was referring to, which was the cost of something that Ryan could not afford to pay for. So Ryan said, "I do not have the money for that," and that was the truth about Ryan and the thing that Ryan could not afford. The man laughed like it was really funny. Responsibility was something he just did not take seriously. It was like a joke to him. The man thought responsibility was a punchline. That evening Ryan drove home later than he normally did. The babysitter who was taking care of Lily met Ryan at the door. She had a tight smile on her face. "The woman told me that she asked for you." The storm really scared her. Ryan. He felt bad about what he did. He gave her the money. Then he went to Lily's room. Lily held on to Ryan tight like she was scared that Ryan would go away if she let go of Ryan. "Daddy," she said quietly, "you have to promise me that you will not go away. Please do not leave me, Daddy." He held her tight. I promised to her. Promises did not pay the bills. Life was still very tough. It was not kind to people. Promises did not make life any easier. They did not stop things from happening to people. Life was still cruel. 3 days later Ryan saw the girl again. He was surprised to see the girl. Ryan was thinking about the girl. Now he saw the girl again. The girl sat on the curb outside a diner. There was rainwater around her shoes. Her hair was all. Her face was really pale. Her cheeks were hollow like she had not eaten food in a time. The girl looked smaller now, not like she did that night. She looked more fragile, the girl did. Ryan's heart just fell down. It was like everything stopped for Ryan. Ryan felt bad all of a sudden. The man pulled over without thinking about it. He just stopped the car all of a sudden. The car pulled over to the side of the road. The man said "you" in a voice as he walked up to the person. She looked up fast and you could see the panic all over her face. It was like she was about to take off running at any second. She said, "I do not want you to see me like this," in a quiet voice. Ryan crouched down in front of her, keeping his distance. He said to her, "You do not owe Ryan anything." She looked at him like she really did not think that kind of thing was something people said. She stared at him. She just did not believe it. The statement he made was just so surprising to her. He said to the person, "Have you eaten your food yet?" She stopped for a moment. Then she shook her head. The diner was not very bright because the lights were not working well. The air was filled with the smell of coffee. Ryan ordered 2 meals. The woman tried to say no. She was too hungry. The woman ate her food slowly and carefully like she thought the food might go away if she did not eat it. Ryan and the woman were eating at the diner. The woman was eating her meal and Ryan was eating his meal, and the woman was still eating slowly and carefully. The woman said that her name is Grace. She said this after a while. Ryan nodded. He said, "Ryan." Her story came out in pieces. She came to the city because of love. She trusted the person. The woman lost everything when the man disappeared with her money, her documents, and her sense of safety. The woman spoke in a voice. She said that no one came to her aid. People looked at the woman like the woman was damaged beyond repair. The woman felt like the woman was all alone. Ryan clenched his jaw. He knew that look. The look people give when they think the person Ryan is not worth the trouble. It is a look that Ryan has seen before. Ryan does not like that look. He asked me this in a soft voice. Why did I not go to the police? That is what he wanted to know. She laughed in a sad way. I did go to them. They said I have to come with something that proves what I am saying is true, some kind of proof from the people I am talking about. Ryan drove her to a shelter that night. He just dropped her off. Then he left. Ryan did not wait around for her to say anything to him. He did not ask her to thank him for taking her to the shelter. The next morning was a day, but it started with his supervisor calling him into the office. His supervisor wanted to talk to him, so he had to go to the office. The office was where his supervisor was waiting for him. The man said to me, "You have been distracted." He sounded very cold. "You are late and you do a job," the man said. Ryan looked at the man in front of him, totally shocked. Ryan had never missed a day of work in his life. The supervisor said, "Fix it. If the problem is not fixed, then they will find someone who can do the job. The supervisor really wants this fixed." They said, "Fix it or we will find someone who will." That afternoon Ryan found an envelope that was taped to his windshield. The envelope was stuck to the windshield of Ryan's car. Ryan was surprised to see the envelope on his car. Inside was a single card. "Thank you for seeing me." No name. No number. Just that. Ryan didn't know it yet, but the woman the world had discarded was about to turn everything upside down. When the truth comes knocking, it can be really scary. The truth is something that we all know is important. We need to face the truth even when it's hard. The truth is what makes us strong. It helps us to learn from our mistakes. So when the truth comes knocking, we should be brave. Let it in. We have to remember that the truth is our friend and it will always help us to find our way. The truth is what matters most. We should always be honest with ourselves and with others. When the truth comes knocking, we should be ready to listen and to learn from it. The truth will set us free. It will help us to become better people. The fallout did not take long. 2 days after Ryan helped Grace into that shelter, you started to see his name over the place. But it was not because he did something amazing that made things better for people. Ryan's name was everywhere. It was all because of something that happened with Ryan. It started with a rumor. People were talking about something. It was not clear what was true and what was not. The rumor was that something big was going to happen. People were wondering what the rumor was about. The rumor was all people could talk about. Someone at work mentioned they saw him hanging around a woman. Another person said he was again. By Friday morning, his supervisor was really annoyed. You could hear it in his voice. He did not even try to hide that he was irritated with him, the guy who was always causing problems, this employee. The man said, "You are becoming a problem," and he snapped at me. He was tapping a pen on the desk. The man told me that we cannot have things getting in the way. The man meant that computer services, like the ones we do, need to be done and without mistakes. Computer services are the man's priority and he wants them done on time. Ryan stood there quietly, his hands were together in front of him. He did this every time someone important talked to him in a way. Ryan always felt this way when people with power spoke down to him. Ryan said that he was helping someone. He said this in a calm voice. The supervisor said, "That is not our problem." The supervisor said, "Your job is your problem." By the end of the day, Ryan was moved to the night shifts. The night shifts meant he got money. He had to work for a time. There was no reason given for this change. Ryan was now working the night shifts. This was really tough for him. The night shifts were hard. Ryan did not like that he got less pay for working longer hours on the night shifts. When he went to get Lily from school that afternoon, he had a smile on his face. It looked like everything was fine. Deep down, the situation with Lily was getting really tough. Something was really bothering him about the thing with Lily. It was night. The rain came back. The rain was really coming down that night. Ryan was sitting at the kitchen table. He was looking at all these unpaid bills that he had to pay. Then someone knocked at the door. Ryan had been putting off paying these bills for a while now. It was really starting to bother him. The knock at the door caught his attention. He got up to see who it was. Not loud. Not demanding. Careful. When he opened the door, Grace was standing there. She looked a lot better. Her coat was simple. It looked like she had just bought it. Grace's eyes were clearer now. They were still sad. The sadness did not seem to be eating away at her like it used to. She was no longer a person. Grace seemed steadier and more in control of herself now. The woman said, "I found you," in a voice. Ryan blinked. He asked, "How did this happen?" She said, "You told her your name and where you work." She stopped for a moment. She wanted to say thank you to you for what the person did. He shook his head. "You do not owe the person anything." Grace looked at him for a long time. She just stood there, stared at him. Then she took a breath. "The woman wanted to be honest with me. I need to tell you the truth," she said. The people sat at the table while Lily slept in the room. They were waiting for Lily to wake up. The table was quiet except for the sound of people breathing. Lily was sleeping deeply in the next room. Grace's voice was shaking, and it was not because she was scared, it was because of the weight of everything. The woman spoke in a voice. She said, "My name is not Grace." Then she told her name. "It is Eleanor Hale." Ryan looked really unhappy. The name made him remember something. It was not very clear in his mind. Ryan thought about the name. It seemed familiar to him, like something from the past that he could not quite recall. The name was stuck in Ryan's head. He was trying to figure out why it sounded so familiar to Ryan. "I am the owner of Hale Industries." The silence was thick. Ryan laughed once. It was a laugh. He did not think it was funny at all. "That is not funny," he said. She said, "I know," and her eyes sparkled. That is why she did not say it before. Her eyes really shone when she said that. She meant it when she said, "I know." That is why she did not say it before. She told me everything about what happened. The fact that someone she trusted betrayed her was really bad. Her fiancé was not just the person she loved. Also someone she worked with and trusted to make big decisions. He took some important documents that belonged to her. He even threatened her. That is why she had to hide and try to figure out who she could really trust. The reason she did this was to be safe and to know for sure who was on her side. She told me that they thought she was completely done for. They believed the woman was weak and finished. They really thought that she was gone for good. Ryan looked at her. He was really surprised. He just stood there staring at her. He could not believe what he was seeing. Ryan was completely stunned by her. He said to me, "You were watching me," and he said it slowly. "Yes," she said. "I did not think much of you at first. You were someone I did not know who stopped. The thing is, at first you were a stranger who stopped." Her voice became really soft. "You did not know who I was. You still helped the woman anyway." The morning Ryan walked into work feeling really tired, but something about the place did not feel the same. Ryan thought to himself that something was different at work that day. The receptionist stopped moving when she saw the man standing in front of her. The receptionist was really surprised to see him. The supervisor's face turned really pale. When the black luxury car came into the parking lot, everything just stopped. The black luxury car was really something to see, and people could not help but stare at the luxury car. Eleanor Hale stepped outside into the air. She took a breath. Eleanor Hale was finally out. No tears. No rain. No weakness. Just authority. She walked past the office staff like they were not even there. She went straight to Ryan. "Mr. Carter," she said in a voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "Thank you for coming in today to see us, Mr. Carter." The room went silent. It was like the room was holding its breath. The silence was that loud. The room was completely silent. There was not a sound to be heard in the room. Eleanor continued, "I am here to do a review." She said, "I want to start by looking at how this company treats people who do not have power, like the employees at the levels of the company, the people who are not in charge, the ones who do not have a lot of power, the regular people, the company's treatment of people who do not have power." Ryan felt that many people were looking at him. Dozens of eyes were turned toward Ryan. He was the center of attention now. The supervisor took a breath and then swallowed really hard. Eleanor looked at them closely. Including how a single father got in trouble for being kind to someone. A person dropped a clipboard. The clipboard just fell on the floor. Now the clipboard is lying there. The clipboard has a lot of papers on it. Ryan just stood there. He was not scared. He was in shock. He could not believe what was happening. This was the moment the world realized they had underestimated the wrong man. The rain has finally come to an end. The rain was really getting on my nerves. I'm so glad that the rain has finally stopped. Now I can go outside. Enjoy the fresh air without getting wet from the rain. The rain was starting to feel like it was never going to stop. It has finally stopped. There was silence. Nobody said a word. The room was really quiet. Nobody was talking. That was not the case when Eleanor Hale was standing in the middle of the warehouse office. That did not happen when her legal team walked in behind her. This did not happen when the company executives found out. It was already too late. The woman they had treated like she was not there now had the power to decide what would happen to the company executives. The company executives had thought the woman was not important. Now they knew that she was the one who would decide their futures. The woman had the company executives' futures in her hands. Ryan stayed right where he was. His heart was pounding hard and his palms were getting sweaty. He had fixed engines when things were really tough. He had worked 2 shifts in a row without getting any sleep. He had taken care of his child all by himself when he was feeling very sad. But nothing had prepared Ryan for this situation, with Ryan having to deal with this. Eleanor turned around slowly, looked at the room. The paint on the walls was coming off. The lights were not steady, kept flickering. The workers in the room were acting strange. They would not look at Eleanor. "I walked around your city for 3 days. Nobody paid attention to me. People looked at me like I was not good enough. I saw how this city really treats people it thinks are not important. The city treats people like me like we do not matter. I spent 3 days learning about this city and how it sees people like me. The city sees people like me as people who have no value." Her eyes were on the supervisor. She was looking at the supervisor. The supervisor was who her gaze landed on. She said that you moved Mr. Carter to the night shifts. You also reduced the amount of money Mr. Carter gets. You marked Mr. Carter as someone who is not reliable. The man opened his mouth. Nothing came out. He just stood there with his mouth open. There was complete silence. The man tried to say something. The man could not make a sound. Eleanor went on to say that he stopped his car in the rain. This was something that the other people did not do. They just drove past her when the rain was coming down. The silence felt really heavy. It was like something was pushing down on me. The silence was a deal. It was like you could feel the silence all around. She said that she did not ask the man who he was. The woman did not offer the man any money. She cried on the side of the road. The man helped her anyway. The man helped the woman even though she did not ask for his help. She did not give him any money. Ryan swallowed hard. Eleanor turned to him then. Her voice was a little softer so that everyone in the room could tell the difference. "Ryan Carter, you saw a stranger when she was really down. You still treated her with dignity. You were kind to her even when she was not being herself. Ryan Carter, that says a lot about the kind of person you're. She stood up straight. That makes you more qualified to be a leader than anyone in this entire building. You have the skills and experience that make you a great leader. This building is full of people. You stand out as the most qualified person to lead. You are the person for the job, and that is what makes you more qualified to lead than anyone in this building. The fallout was swift. The executives were taken out of the building. The supervisor lost his job away. They said they would look into what happened. Now they are changing the company policies. The company policies are being rewritten. Eleanor was not done yet. She still had something to say. Eleanor wanted to add something to what she was talking about. 2 weeks later, Ryan sat in a conference room with glass walls that he had never been inside before. The conference room was a place where Ryan had never been allowed to go into. Ryan was now sitting in this conference room with glass walls. Eleanor said to me, "I am offering you a position as the operations director. This job has hours and it comes with full benefits. The salary for the operations director position is also very good. Your daughter will never have to feel the fear that you have been carrying alone, as the operations director will be well taken care of." Ryan looked at her. He was really surprised. He just stood there staring at her. He could not believe what he was seeing. Ryan was completely stunned by what was happening with her. He said this in a voice. The man said, "I am not a businessman." Then he said, "I am just," and he stopped talking. Eleanor cut in. Said, "A man who shows up." She meant a man who shows up every single day no matter what, even when it is really hard for him. The man felt tears burning behind his eyes. He was really upset. The tears were burning behind the man's eyes. The man was trying not to cry. The tears were burning behind his eyes. Tears of sadness were burning behind the man's eyes. That night Ryan picked Lily up early. They walked home together under a clear sky. Lily's small hand was wrapped tightly in Ryan's hand. "Daddy," she said, "why do you have a smile on your face?" He got down on his knees beside her. The air was fresh and clean because of the rain. It filled his lungs. He said quietly, "Sometimes doing what is right changes everything around us, and that is what doing the right thing does. It changes everything." Eleanor was by herself in her penthouse apartment across the city. She stood there, watched as the lights in the city started to turn on one by one. The power was coming back on. It did not feel like a big deal anymore. Eleanor thought about the power. How it was not so important to her now. That feeling was real to me because it felt earned. And for